Welcome to Graybo's Giblets. We are Gray Burnett, Ryan Fitz, and Duke Dotson. And we own a sports card shop called Graybo Sports Cards and a sports bar called Parlay in Richmond, Virginia. We know you don't have 40 hours per week to pour over podcasts and spreadsheets, but you want to get in on the action. So we do the work for you. We bring you 30-minute giblets each week so you can feel good heading up to the window and into the weekend. We are the crossroads of sports lovers, fantasy heads, sports betting, and sports cards. We're out here dropping giblets for the people. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a special honor to talk college football with Moneyline Mac from the college experience. We're so excited. He's going to give us all the winners today. Moneyline Mac, you ready for some football?
I am ready for some football. Woo! I appreciate you guys having me. My favorite bar in Richmond.
Let's go.
Let's talk some football, baby.
Yeah, every Saturday you can find us at Moneyline Mac here sweating out some games for sure. We'll buy you a beer. Come on, say hi. And we would love to see you at Parlay. But August 23rd, that's this weekend, boys, is week 0 of college football. I cannot wait. And if you need to find out about one of the 136 college football teams, go check out the college experience. They do a freaking preview for about an hour on each individual team. So Moneyline Mac, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, how long does that take to prepare for?
A while, but when you love it, it's not as hard. You don't feel like it's work. And everybody says, how do you get that much information, get ready for the season? When you do 136 previews, that's your preparation. So, yeah, I mean, we're just fans of the game. We love the game. And, we got 18 to go. We're 118 in and 18 to go coming down the stretch.
And so do you have to finish these 18 before Saturday?
No, because a lot of the teams play next.
Gotcha.
We got all the week 0 teams out
of the way.
Yeah, and then we're working to make sure that we have all the Thursday and Friday games out as well. So yeah, it's a bunch of the G5 teams now that we got to do.
Excellent. I heard you're going to Vegas this weekend.
I am going to be at Circa Las Vegas, baby.
Oh man, I'm so jealous.
I'm jealous.
So if you're not at Parlay, I'd rather be there. Right,
yeah,
Denny?
That's probably the only bar I'd rather be at. It's a Circle Pool. So with that in mind, you've done most of these teams already. 30 seconds or less. What'd you say about Virginia Tech on your pod?
We did it last night. I am on the over 6.5 wins. I had them 7-5. I think that the conference schedule broke nicely. They miss a bunch of the top teams, and then you get teams like Miami and Louisville coming to lane, especially getting Miami late in November. We see the warm Southern teams struggle in the cold. So schedule's tough to start. South Carolina, the big one, the Beamer Bowl, and then you got to play Diego Pavia again, who they got beat last year as a 13-point favorite in Nashville. Now they got him back at Lane. Diego
is your boy, though.
I do.
You rode him at New Mexico State.
I rode him then, and I rode him last year, and yeah, he's a winner. So I'm fading Tech that week for sure. But I like Tech. Based on what I know about South Carolina and Tech, getting 8.5, now it's down to 6.5. I'm personally laying off the game.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get them at 8.5. A lot of people were on Tech. Some of the experts I was listening to, Moneyline Mac loves the over. I think they cover against South Carolina. And a lot of people are down on South Carolina. We'll talk about that. We'll get into that, all of that. But before we get into it, because we're going to talk a lot about the Power 4 conferences, was there any G5 talk, Moneyline Mac, any G5 teams that you like value-wise to make a splash, maybe make the college football playoffs a lot of people aren't aware of?
Yeah, so I'll give out 3 here.
Okay.
In the American, I like Navy. Year 3 in Newberry, they came on strong. They beat Army. They beat Oklahoma in the bowl game. They bring back pretty much their entire offense with the triple option team. And then you look at their schedule, they miss a bunch of the top teams. They don't get Tulane. They don't play UTSA. So the schedule breaks nicely for Navy. They could potentially be 8-0 headed into the Notre Dame game. I think they're going to have a season similar to what Army had last year, where they just lose to Notre Dame, but then they take care of business in the American. And then the other one I like in the Mountain West is San Jose State. The former Navy coach, Niumatalolo, out there, year 2. They have a great schedule. They don't get Boise, they don't get UNLV, and they don't get Colorado State. So I think that they found their quarterback midway through the year last year. I like them to make a jump. And then if you want to get really dangerous and take a big stab, let's go with Southern Miss to win the Sun Belt. I think it's over there now at 14-1. Southern Miss was 1-11 last year. But Charles Huff comes in for Marshall. They won the Sun Belt at Marshall. He brings over 20 transfers from that Marshall team that won the Sun Belt. I like Southern Miss as a potential long shot, 14-1 to win the Fun Belt.
I already put it in my app. Already highlighted Southern Miss 14-1. I love that. I love G5. We get excited for G5. Do you play any like college football leagues, like over under? Like you draft a team over under leagues or
Cover 5?
We do something called Cover 5 where we pick 5 teams and they have to cover
Against the spread.
Against the spread, yeah. So like you can kind of explain it better if you
Yeah,
want.
you just the spreads come out and you pick 5 teams against the spread. If you cover, you get positive points. If you don't cover, you get negative points. So when you're really right, you get rewarded more. You know, a lot of times you're really right, but you lose by a hook, right? But that doesn't kill you in Cover 5. But when you're really right and you win by 21 over the spread, you get rewarded. Have you ever done one of those?
I haven't done one of those, but I need to.
We need to get you in our league.
It's pure.
Yeah,
It's a
anytime
pure.
there's more action, I'm all for it.
It is every score matters, and that just gets me excited for G5 because I remember I bet San Jose State a lot last year, and they covered a lot. So I'm all in on San Jose State with you and Southern Miss with you for sure. So that's your G5 talk. You're a big G5 guy. You got anything? Or you,
Not yet. No, my G5 research.
you wait until like the first week. You see the games.
Yeah.
This is one of the hardest weeks.
I'm polished up. You'll hear in a second on SEC, Big 10, and ACC. I'm a little behind on Big 12, and I'm behind on my G5 research right now.
Thank God we have the expert for Big 12 because we're going to let Moneyline Mac cook here in a second. But let's get into our first Power 4 conference with the ACC. On top of the ACC, we got Clemson, followed by Miami, SMU, Louisville, Georgia Tech, Duke, Florida State, UNC, Pitt, NC State, Virginia Tech, Virginia, Syracuse, Boston College, Cal, Wake Forest, and Stanford. How is the ACC going to fare this year, Moneyline Mac? Who do you see as kind of maybe a dark horse team, and then your winner? Who's gonna come out on top?
So I think Clemson is definitely the premier team from a roster standpoint, culture standpoint. Klubnik, year 3 in Riley's offensive system. They got all those pros on the defensive side. This is probably the best Clemson team since, 2019? And they actually added a couple pieces in the portal. If I had to give out a dark horse, I'm going to go with the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. I like Haynes King. I like the production they got coming back on the offensive side of the football. Last year, their schedule was brutal. It's much more favorable this year. I think they're going to be a favorite in maybe 9, 10 games out of the 12 games. So I think Georgia Tech can get to Charlotte and take on Clemson. Something to look for. Clemson's got to go to Georgia Tech at Bobby Dodd in Week 3, and we've seen them pull off upsets, beating Miami last year and other teams along the way. So I think Georgia Tech is my sleeper in the ACC.
I like that. Georgia Tech is 12-1 on DraftKings to win the ACC. That's a pretty good number. Denny, what about you? Are you riding with Clemson to win it all as well, or do you have another team that's going to take over?
Yeah, you've heard me talk poorly about Dabo over the last couple years on the pod. That being said, I changed my tune a little bit at the end of last year. They won me some money by pulling out the ACC. I'm taking Clemson to win it. For my dark horse, who can kind of make things interesting, I'm going to take Louisville. I think they could make it difficult on some folks and find their way to the title game.
I'm right with you.
Yeah.
Why do we always agree on everything?
Because we're smart.
Clemson, obviously a plus 105. I'm going to take the win the ACC. I actually think that's a lot. And you get in that plus money a little bit. Go ahead and take that right now. And then Louisville at, what are they, plus 850 to win the ACC. I'll put a little sprinkle on. I like the Cardinals. Favorable schedule. And then the ACC they're just down again. I mean, look at the back end here. Stanford, Wake, Cal, BC, Syracuse, UVA. What about my Cavaliers? What are they going to do? They got some NIL money.
They do.
Thanks to Serena's husband.
And they drew a great schedule.
Yes, they did.
They missed a bunch of the top teams in the top half. So huge year for Tony Elliott.
God,
I kind of think they're going to get back to a bowl finally.
I'm glad I was watching you read the bottom half of the ACC, and you stopped right between UVA and Virginia Tech. So you put my Hokies in the top part.
Yeah, what Moneyline Mac was saying about Tech, I kind of put them in the middle. They're not in the top. They're in the middle. Like NC State, I feel like is spiraling down a little bit. How about the Moneyline Mac? Talk a little bit about this middle pack here. Pitt, Florida State, the horrible year that Florida State had. Pitt, UNC with Bill, Big Bad Bill coming in, and then Duke getting the Tulane transfer. How are these teams going to fare?
Yeah, Mentz is a big-time transfer from Duke. So, Belichick, I will say, the ACC put it on a tee for him because outside of Clemson, they played the entire bottom half. They don't draw Miami, SMU, Louisville, or Georgia Tech, and it's or Florida State. Florida State's going to be a wild card team again.
Yeah,
they just portal it up, and Castellano's coming over from BC. So
He's talking
a lot when they got Alabama week 1.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to say anything ever positive about Pitt being a West Virginia guy. So
there you go. There you go.
But they bring back a ton. Narduzzi's got a good defense. Pitt, as much as I hate to say it, they could be a little bit of a sleeper in this league.
Their defense is going to be good. It's just, what is the offense going to bring? What are they going to do? Their over under? All right, so the over under is 6.5
on Pitt. Yeah,
on Pitt.
Pitt.
I'm staying off of that because I think they're right around 6. But
no strong opinion there.
Well, last year was hilarious because they started 7-0, then lost 6 in a
7-0.
row. So as long as they lose week 3 at Morgantown, it's a good year.
That's a big one. That's a big one for your West Virginia Mountaineers that we'll get to in a little bit. So we all like Clemson. We're going to lock that one in. I think that is a lock pick for me. If you want to get fancy and go with Louisville, or if you want to go Moneyline Mac's way and go Georgia Tech, or play some money line with Georgia Tech when they're taking on some of these guys. Georgia Tech is the 5th favorite behind Miami, SMU, Louisville, Georgia Tech. We didn't really talk about Miami and SMU. What are their aspirations this year?
My thoughts, SMU similar to last year, easier schedule. I don't think they really have it, and I'm down on Miami in relation to where they are.
Yeah, I think SMU got an unbelievable draw on the schedule last year. I don't think that they were as good as their 11-1 record. Lashley's done a good job. They do have Jennings coming back, but they are replacing a ton on the defensive side. I kind of think that they're more of an 8-4 team this year, and then Miami's as well. Miami's schedule's hard, having to play those non-con games against Florida and Notre Dame and South Florida. So I kind of think Miami more of an 8-4, 9-3 team. I think they just miss out on the ACC title.
Yeah, same.
All right, I like it. And then lastly, playoff teams. How many from the ACC are going to make it to the playoffs?
I'm going to go with 2, Clemson, and I got Louisville sneaking in.
Clemson and Louisville. Moneyline Mac, you got Clemson, obviously, winning the ACC will be in there.
Yeah, I got them having Uno this year. Just one. I think Clemson's the only team because I think Clemson will win that game in Charlotte to solidify a 1-bid league.
Well, I'm excited then because he's already told me 4-4 from the big boys, 1 from the ACC. I'm guessing he's going to say 1-ish for the Big 12. So we got some others in there. So I can't wait to hear who they are.
I want to see who this year's Arizona State's going to be that we can place money on to make the playoffs. You would have cleaned up if you just bet a little bit on Arizona State to make the playoffs. They were predicted last. So I can't wait to talk about that. So the ACC, we're heavy on Clemson. I think I'm with Duke here. I have Clemson as a lock to get into the playoffs, and then Louisville as the second team from the ACC to get in there. Miami loses out again. And Tony Elliott will be fired are my big takes for the ACC. He just has no discipline. Those guys get more penalties than anyone I've ever seen. So he brings in a lot of transfers. We'll see. Good quarterback. We'll see. Let's get into the Big 10 because I want to save the Big 12 for last. So we'll do Big 10, SEC, and then Big 12 last. All right, the Big 10, we're looking at Ohio State as the favorite, defending national champs. Penn State on paper is probably one of the best teams in the country. Oregon, are they going to be down this year? Michigan, USC, Illinois, Nebraska, Iowa, Indiana, Washington, Minnesota, Michigan State, Wisconsin.
Good job. That was good.
UCLA, Rutgers, Northwestern, Maryland, and Purdue bringing up the rear. Who are we rolling with to take this conference down? And give me your overall take with the Big Ten Moneyline Mac, and your dark horse.
So I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna hold my breath here. I'm gonna go with Penn State. Big game, James Franklin here.
Big game, James.
I just think that they have the best roster, and they have the most continuity too. I mean, it's year 3 with Drew Aller, year 2 with the Andy Koltenicky, who I think is one of the better offensive coordinators in the country, future head coach. They have 2 1,000-yard backs back that may end up 1-2 all-time at Penn State in rushing. And they went out and got dudes in the portal that have produced at the Power 5 level to replace what they lost last year. So, and they're always good defensively. So I think Penn State is the best team this year. It's kind of a make-or-break season, I think, for James Franklin. If I had to give out a sleeper, the Big Ten schedules are so unbalanced. We saw it with Indiana last year. The team that really got a great schedule this year was Nebraska.
Ooh.
Nebraska does not draw Ohio State. They don't draw Oregon. And then they get Michigan and USC coming to them at home. They miss Illinois. They miss Iowa. And they miss Indiana. So you kind of look at it. They drew in a bunch of the bottom-tier teams. Maybe they finished a 10-2 type year, but they're really not that good. And Matt Rule, year number 3, has been really good at Temple and Baylor.
Who's their quarterback now?
Raiola.
Oh, he didn't. I thought he transferred. He's still there?
The wannabe Patrick Mahomes
yeah,
lookalike.
he's still there? Okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk about him NIL transferring. So I like that a lot. Let's mark that, Denny. Denny, who are you with? Who you up with the Big Ten, man?
Yeah, I'm same at the top. I've got Penn State beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Yeah, small game James has never done it, but I think the roster's too good. I like Drew Aller. I love the coordinators there. My sleeper, I'm going to throw USC in there. I'd actually like Rule, and I think he can get more out of his guys than a lot of coaches can. So I like what Moneyline Mac said about Nebraska, but I'm going to take USC. A couple years into this new coaching regime, they've got an easier schedule. And I got them, maybe sneaking in. I really, obviously, I think it's going to be Penn State, Ohio State in the championship game. But I'll see Ohio State losing 2 games somehow this year.
Didn't Penn State steal Ohio State's defensive coordinator too?
Yes, Jim Knowles.
Yeah, so that's big. I'm all fading Ohio State this year.
Well, I mean, just fade me in 10-2 or 9-3.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's like by default they're 10-2.
Yeah, right.
Dudes.
I'll say this: not making the college football playoff.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So
Yeah.
9-3 then.
There you go, 9-3.
Okay.
That's my take. I think Penn State and USC. I'm with you there. I think I like both of them to make the Big Ten championship. USC. Scheduling gods came down. They don't have to play Penn State or Ohio State, and I think Oregon's down this year. I like the under Oregon. I think Oregon goes 9-3, maybe 8-4 as well in the Big Ten. So Penn State on paper should roll into the playoffs. They should win the Big Ten, and I think right now you can get them. I got them at plus 220 here,
Yep.
And Ohio State's plus 195. So I'm gonna take Penn State to win the conference here. USC, I'm going to sprinkle on to make the playoffs. So I have Penn State and USC out of the Big Ten making the playoffs. Any take on Cignetti, boys?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just going to bring that up that they're picked 9th in the Big Ten after what they did last year. Does that surprise you?
Odds, yeah.
I think it's more so that schedule. Like they had a beautiful runway last year. They got everybody in the bottom half except for Ohio State, and then Michigan was down. Michigan was kind of their big significant win. This year's tough for them because you look at it, they got to go to Penn State, they got to go to Oregon, and they got to go to Iowa. Those are 3 tough road games, and then you also get Illinois at home. So they may be better than they were last year, but they may have a worse record because of the schedule. And that's just such a theme in these bigger conferences like the Big Ten that have 18 teams that you can't have a balanced schedule. It's mathematically impossible.
Yeah, that's a major change from, say, 5 years ago when you played everybody in the conference. And this wasn't even a discussion point, but when you're listening to the college football podcast now, every team schedule strength gets mentioned, and it's a big deal a lot of times.
Agreed. And out of conference. And don't forget that first game, Ohio State, Texas. Now, if Ohio State beats Texas, I will change my mind.
Yeah. That's a massive game. Can't wait.
I think the line is what, 3?
2.5 now.
2.5. Okay, that is a massive game. Can't wait for that. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah, my mind will change week to week for
Have
sure.
you ever had a college football season when number one team in the country is a dog in week 1, and second, number 2 team in the country is not even favored to win their conference? Just think about that for a second. And Ohio State is the other team in both scenarios.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, Ohio State technically is favored to win their conference.
No, I'm saying Penn State is number 2 in the country, and they're not favored to win their own conference.
Gotcha.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
they're not. I thought, dang, what's Ohio State then? What is their preseason? I haven't even looked at the preseason ranks, man.
Ohio State's 3.
3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so they're right
it's
there.
1 versus
All right.
3.
Gotcha. All right, so how about the bottom tier teams? Do we like any of these teams to hit their over/under? UCLA with Nico. Maryland's going to be really bad. Wisconsin, what are they like? Minnesota, Washington, I heard, is not bad this year. Do we like any of these bottom tiers to hit their over/under? Moneyline Mac to make some noise.
Yeah, I like Washington to go over their win total. Damon Williams came onto the scene in that bowl game. I think he's year 2 in Jed Fish's offense. We saw how good he was with Fafita out at Arizona.
Yep.
Another one that I think is sneaky and going to be chippy in the Big Ten, kind of maybe a spoiler type team. I think Sparty. Year 2 with Jonathan Smith. I think that it took him a little bit last year to get their culture in place. He runs his program more old school, so I think he sacrificed some wins last year to get his culture in place. I think he's a pretty good coach. And then, like I said, I like both Nebraska and USC overs on their win totals as well.
I like that. All right, so for me, for playoff teams, I got 2 from the Big Ten. I talked about USC and Penn State. So, yeah, no Michigan, no Oregon, no Ohio State. What about you, Denny? Playoff team-wise, who makes it?
Playoff teams: Penn State, Ohio State, and I think that's it for me.
No USC.
I'm sorry. Wait, yeah. What?
USC's
Get those eyes.
Yeah, okay, I just counted 12 teams on my playoff, and I don't have USC, but I might bet USC as a sleeper.
Okay. Moneyline Mac. So you had 1 from the ACC. How many from the Big Ten?
I have 4 from the Big Ten.
Oh, man.
And 2 of them are Pac-12 teams, so that's why
Okay.
you probably thought USC, because that's where they belong, not in the Big Ten. I have Penn State winning. I think they beat Ohio State in Indy. So I got Ohio State in the college football playoff again. And I do have Oregon going 10-2. I think that Dante Moore is still super talented, and I think that Oregon is still loaded with skill guys and at the line of scrimmage. So I think Oregon's my 3rd. And then my 4th, I thought about Nebraska, but I think Nebraska will find a way to choke. I got USC getting in there in the final spot at 9-3, and we'll talk about this when we get to the playoff. I think there's going to be a lot of drama and a lot of chaos and a lot of 9-3 teams.
Can't wait. Yeah, a lot of 9-3 chaos. Oh, and then we'll talk about when we get to the playoffs. I know you probably have a take on the expansion to 28 teams. I'm sure that's going to be fun to talk about. All right, so let's get into the SEC here. Looking at it, Texas is the favorite here in the SEC. They're plus 270. Georgia's plus 330. We got Bama at plus 380. LSU plus 700. Texas A&M's 15-1. Ole Miss 16-1. Florida 18-1. The Vols 25-1. South Carolina 25-1. Oklahoma 28-1. Auburn 28-1. Then you get to kind of the bottom tier here. Missouri 60-1. Arkansas 150-1. Vandy, if you believe in Diego, 200-1. Kentucky 250-1. And Kentucky always upsets someone. Mississippi State 500-1. Woo! What a conference. What do we have cooking here, boys? Moneyline Mac, talk to me about this conference. How many crazy games are we going to have in this conference?
Oh, this league's going to be fun this year. I think you could make the case for 6 or 7 teams, even though it feels like Alabama and Georgia just have won the league every year, except for the Burrow year with LSU. I got it shaken out. I got them beaten up on each other once again, like they did last year. I think Georgia they may not be as good as they've been, but their schedule's a joke. They only have 3 true road games, with the Georgia Tech game being now at the Georgia Dome, which will now be a Georgia crowd. So I have Georgia finding a way to get back to Atlanta once again under Kirby Smart. I think Gunnar Stockton's going to be a better fit than Carson Beck. And I got Alabama getting back to Atlanta as well. Year 2 of Kalen DeBoer, Jeff Grubb coming back to be his OC. I think Alabama's bringing back all that talent on the defensive side. I think Simpson's a better fit than Milroe in that system. I think Bama, Georgia, in the SEC title once again. And I got the Tide getting back on top in the SEC.
All right, and that comes down a lot. Like, I like both those teams, but quarterback play. And so you believe in Simpson, you believe in Stockton, and we'll see. A lot of people are talking about, like, if those two got hurt, the backups, they wouldn't skip a beat. The backups are pretty good as well. Where in, like, other schools, if their starter got hurt, they'd be in trouble. So Georgia and Bama. Bama's defense is elite. I know that. I've heard the talk about Bama's defense and the head coach bringing his offensive coordinator and the chemistry that Bama's going to have. I know a lot of people on Bama to win the national title at 11-1 too, which isn't a bad play. Denny, who are you taking as your pick to win the SEC here?
I'm actually going to echo. I got Bama over Texas in the championship game. I love DeBoer. Second year in the program. Coordinator, love that move. I think a lot depends on the quarterback, obviously. We'll see what Simpson's been waiting in the wings for a while. I hope he's a good fit. We'll see. For some reason, I've got Georgia just not getting there. And there's so many teams I could challenge, right? Look at LSU, A&M, Ole Miss, Florida. I'm out on Tennessee, and I think I'm out on South Carolina, like winning the SEC. So I just don't see that second tier getting it done. I think it's between Texas, Georgia, Bama, and I'm going to give the nod to Bama.
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have no idea.
That's fair.
When I was looking at this, I didn't know who to plug in. I just went with the chalk. Texas, Arch Manning, hoping that he's the truth. I just have no idea. And I also have a love for Texas A&M. Always bet them in everything. I'm going to bet them to win the SEC at 40-1. I'm going to bet them to win. Bet to win the national championship at 40-1. I just think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know why. They always screw me in the end.
Well, I love Elko.
Yeah,
I think he's a good coach.
Good coach.
Yeah. The defense. But they always find a way to choke in the end. But I have no idea. But if you're looking at quarterbacks, would you think LSU has a shot here with their quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's obviously the best returning quarterback in the SEC, right? Most seasoned, but Brian Kelly found a way to mess it up with Jane Daniels.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the crazy thing about Nussmeier is he had a better first year than Daniels and Burrow did their first year. That we saw the second year, both of them jump and win the Heisman and be a 1 or 2 pick in the draft. So, yeah, you mentioned it, Georgia and Alabama, some question marks at the quarterback. You don't got to worry about that with LSU. They definitely have the best quarterback returning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go a little bit different because I like quarterback play. I'm going to go Texas over LSU. No Georgia, no Bama, but they will make the playoff. Got a lot of teams in SEC making the playoffs. All right, so the bottom half of this, Ole Miss, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Auburn, Missouri. I doubt Arkansas, Vandy, Kentucky, Mississippi State make noise. Maybe Vandy, Diego. But do you have, a dark horse, or is it just too hard up top, Moneyline Mac?
Maybe Oklahoma. I think Mateer, he survived the little Venmo transaction from a couple years ago. But he's coming over with his offensive coordinator. Venables' defense is never an issue. Right. They were still a top 15 unit last year. They just couldn't move the ball. So if that offense marriage can work, maybe Oklahoma, crazy things happened in that Red River shootout game between Texas and Oklahoma. Maybe Oklahoma could pick them off and then back into the college football playoff at 9-3 or 10-2.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, so my sleeper is going to be Florida, and we might see if I'm a victim of what I used to call the Hard Knocks curse, where you'd watch Hard Knocks and get all hype on Jarvis Landry.
That took Alfred Blue one year.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've all done that. So I got pretty excited watching the SEC show on Netflix and watching Lagway, learning more about him. Billy Napier, weathering that storm early in the year. It was a mess, and he was really close to getting fired, and he really pulled out a second half that was impressive. So I'm not sure they're going to win the conference. I'm just saying I think they can make some noise, disrupt some things, maybe sneak into the playoff.
I like it. All right, so let's get into how many teams we think are going to make the playoffs here. Denny, how many do you have and who?
All right, so I might rethink. So after hearing Moneyline Mac talk about Oregon and USC, I recognize I don't have either of them in the playoff, but I have Louisville, and I have 5 SEC teams. So I need to drop either Louisville or one of these SEC teams. So let's go with Texas, Georgia, Bama for sure. And then I had LSU in Florida. I think I may drop LSU and take USC. So give me 4. Give me 3 in the Big Ten, 4 in the SEC.
That's like me. Like, I don't even have LSU on here, and I have them in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
So I got to put LSU in there. So I have Texas, Bama, Georgia, A&M, and LSU 5, which won't be the case because I'm missing there has to be a G5 team in there, right? Isn't there one spot for G5? So I'm going to have to take out one that probably. Oh, man. I'll probably take out A&M, unfortunately, but I'm still going to bet them. How about you, Moneyline Mac? You said you had 4 in the SEC. Who are they?
I had the 2 big conferences splitting at 4-4 this year with some controversy on that final one. So Alabama and Georgia, I got them both in. I do, and then I have LSU. I think LSU is going to go 10-2 this year. I think big year, Brian Kelly back against his wall. They invested in that defense. I'm high on LSU. And then I did have Texas getting in as one of my final wild card teams, I guess. I think they beat A&M the final week to solidify their spot.
That could be for a spot, right?
Yeah,
For a spot for sure.
Yeah, there's so many games like just when you look at the schedules late that are going to be kind of by default playoff games to get into the playoffs. So I got Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU as my 4.
Oh, my gosh. This just gets me excited for college football.
I can't wait.
Every game is going to matter in that conference. And so that kind of takes us to the best conference, right, Moneyline Mac? The Big 12. And I'm going to let Moneyline Mac cook because you look at these teams. Let's go. Let's look at them real quick. And I was just looking at the odds. Kansas State is the favorite. Yeah. Well, now Arizona State is tied with them at plus 550, but I would still take Kansas State over Arizona State. I got Utah plus 600, Texas Tech plus 600, Baylor's plus 700, TCU plus 850, Iowa State 11-1, Kansas 18-1, BYU 20-1, Colorado 28-1, Cincy 30-1, Houston 35-1. WVU 40-1 right there. Arizona 45-1, UCF 55-1, and Oklahoma State 55-1. Moneyline Mac, take us through this conference. I have no idea who is coming out of this conference, and there's value in this conference if you can pick right.
There is. This is the best long shot league. Arizona State last year, they stopped doing preseason rankings in this league because it just falls on its face every year. Arizona State picked 16th out of 16 last year, wins the league. TCU was like preseason 10 the year they went to the Natty. Baylor was like preseason 12 the year they won the league. So this league has been a total crapshoot every single year. So I think the theme is just really good coaches and a lot of returning production on these teams, especially at the quarterback position. Avery Johnson at K-State, Levitt at Arizona State. You got Robertson coming back to Baylor, Hoover at TCU, Rocco Becht, Iowa State, and then Jalen Daniels at Kansas. So I think that's where you separate the tiers is a lot of these teams have third and fourth year quarterbacks, which is kind of rare in this transfer portal NIL era. I think there's going to be a bunch of tiebreakers, shocking, in the Big 12. I think we may see a 5 or 6 way tie for first place, and it's going to come down to the handbook to see who wins the tiebreakers. I have Utah and Kansas State in the championship game.
Ooh.
So a little bit of the year after the year. Those were the 2 favorites last year. Flying a little bit more under the radar this year, especially with Utah being 6-1 and plus 550. I think Utah is going to get it done this year. Last year was disappointing. They were down to their 4th-string quarterback, but they had all those one-score losses. They're always good defensively. Under Winningham, it was his first losing season in over a decade. Dan Pierre coming over from New Mexico with the offensive coordinator, Beck. So you got continuity on the offense, and you got the defense. And Kyle Whittingham said it might be his best offensive line. So he's not really a guy that's a used car salesman too. When he says something, it means something. So I'll go Utah over K-State and Dallas to win the Big 12.
And everyone had them last year, like making a run in the playoffs. Like very disappointing year.
Because rising.
Utah. Oh yeah, can't. Is he? Where is he doing now?
He retired.
Okay.
So, yeah, they finally have a quarterback that could stay
Probably
healthy.
were like, all right, listen, it's time.
He was probable to play like 24 consecutive weeks or something ridiculous.
So I'm gonna go a little more value here. 11-1. I'm gonna go because one of my best friends, named Matt Campbell. I love Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Let's go Iowa State. 11-1. Rocco Beck. Cyclones. And the biggest game is this week, week 0 in Ireland, Kansas State. They can get that win. I like my chances, Denny. Who are you riding in the Big 12?
To be clear, I'm only picking this because you're making me. So give me Arizona State to win it. Give me Utah as my sleeper. If you consider them a sleeper, being I guess the third favorite. I think there's gonna be some positive regression with Utah based on all the hype last year, coupled with all the disappointment. So I think between those two teams for me.
There is a little chirping about Houston, Moneyline Mac. What do they bring into the table? I've heard some experts talk about sprinkling 35-1 on Houston.
Yeah,
I don't know much about them.
I don't think it's a bad one. It's year 2 of Willie Fritz, who's always been a good coach at Sam Houston and then at Tulane. So we've seen him have really a lot of success. Wegman coming over from Texas A&M, so experience at the quarterback position. The defense was good last year. It's more so a belief in Willie Fritz. So
Willie Fritz.
They've kind of become my sleeper a little bit. Them and Kansas.
Okay.
Kansas is the other one. Jalen Daniels. The Leipold brings back an offensive coordinator closer to what Koltenicky was last year. The marriage didn't work with Grimes, who's now at Wisconsin. So I like Kansas and Houston. 18-1 and 35-1. This league is worth taking a couple long shots just because of the total chaos week in and week out.
I'm definitely going to sprinkle Houston then at 35-1. They'll be my dark horse play. Moneyline Mac approves. Let's go. And we love betting Kansas.
Yeah, yes. I think it's a league where you can bet on 3 long shots, and if one of them sneaks into the game, you can always hedge out with the favorite. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can always do it that way.
What's your strategy always?
Driblets?
Yeah,
so
you'll bet it twice.
Yeah,
Let one ride and cash
one out, get your money back. Yeah, yeah.
I love it. So I only have one team coming out of the Big 12, and I already chose Iowa State as my team to emerge. We'll find out week 0 if they're on their way or not. Denny, who's your team? Or do you have more than one?
No, just one, and I'm going to just pick whoever I think is going to win it. So I guess Arizona State, but I might pivot to Utah here shortly.
No idea. Moneyline Mac, you only have one team coming out of this, so I'm guessing it's Utah?
Yeah, it's the Utes. As much as I think that maybe they have 2 or 3 teams good enough, they just are so evenly matched and they beat up on each other. So they're going to have 3-4 losses by the end. So, yeah, give me Kyle Whittingham and the Utes to get it done this year and get back to the playoff.
Beautiful. All right, so that kind of covers our top conferences. Get your bets in there. But let's go ahead and kind of recap or any other bets that we didn't talk about, over, under, conference winners, national championship bets, et cetera, that you've already thrown in or you're going to or maybe thinking about. So let's start with our guest, Moneyline Mac. Do you bet do you throw in like 25 bets like me and Duke do?
Yeah, I like to sprinkle, so I'm not going to give out everything. So go check out my Twitter where I do a graphic for each one. I think my favorite win total bet, I think it's just Southern Miss over 5.5 wins. I mean, I kind of already laid it out. Like, it's a whole Marshall team coming over from the Sun Belt. And they have the preseason player of the year in the Sun Belt at the quarterback position. So all they got to do is get back to a bowl game. I think Charles Huff and company love them over 5.5. And then I really love that Utah one, over 7.5 wins. Whittingham and company coming off their worst year ever where they couldn't move the ball at all. Still went 5-7. Now they get everybody back. They're going to be better offensively. I love them over 7.5. And I also love Navy on their win total. I already kind of laid out that schedule. They're over 8.5. I think that they're a 10-2 or 11-1, and maybe even a college football dark horse team as the G5 representative.
All right. What is? Do you know what's Navy's odds to make playoffs? Do we know that at the top of our heads? We can look at that later. Duke, Denny one time.
All right, I got a lot of them. So
Are you going to say all of them?
I'm
Look
gonna
at
go.
this list.
I'm gonna go through all of them. All right,
Let's do it.
We'll do playoff and natty bets and conference win bets first. So give me Louisville to make the playoff at plus 310. The two natty bets I'm going to make: Bama 11-1 and Penn State at 7-1. I think there's good value in both of those. Penn State to win the conference at plus 220. How about Tulane to win their conference at plus 300? Florida to get into the playoff at plus 400. One thing you didn't ask us, Gray, was our non-Power 4 playoff teams.
Yeah.
You want to do that now or later?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let's spit it off.
To round out my playoff, I'm throwing in Notre Dame, and then I'm throwing in Tulane as the G5. So
I mean, I forgot about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
There's so many good teams out there that can make
and
this.
they're going to go 11-1 probably.
Yeah, so I had what 4-4.
Yeah.
That's 8. Then you got 1-1 with the SEC or
So you
ACC and Big 12.
So you
That's
got
10.
1-2 left.
I got Notre Dame.
Notre
getting
Dame,
in there.
definitely.
Yeah, so that's and then that leaves my G5.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the Navy midshipmen,
Navy
man.
midshipmen.
I like it.
And the thing about the AAC and the Mountain West, they host the home playoff game.
Yeah.
Or the conference championship. So I laid out their track record or their track schedule.
Mm-hmm.
If they can host that game in Annapolis and get a warm weather team like Tulane or UTSA coming to them, love Navy, and I think Boise will drop a couple more games than they did last year. So give me Navy to get to the college football playoff as a 12 seed.
Okay.
Plus 380 to win the AAC.
I like it.
Love it. I love it.
All right, so my win total bets. You ready, Gray?
Yeah.
I don't like Hugh Freeze, but I think he's a good coach. I think Cam Coleman is a stud, and I like their quarterback. So give me Auburn over 7.5, despite a loss to Vandy again. Give me Ohio State under 10.5, 2 losses in the regular season. Give me Texas over 9.5. Tennessee, I'm fading them under 8.5. Tulane over 8.5. Louisville over 8.5, Oklahoma over 6.5. Moneyline Mac talked about them. Florida over 7.5. Vandy over 5.5.
That's just a Diego
If you
play.
don't think Diego Pavi's getting to a bowl game, get out of here.
Well, they got to beat Tech to hit that number.
And they will, unfortunately. They will. All right, my best bet of the year, USC over 7.5. Go through that schedule. Find me 5 losses. I don't see it. I'm fading Miami under 9.5. I'm taking 2 long shots for Heisman.
Got Heisman in here. Let's go,
Yeah.
baby.
Give me Lagway at 22-1. Give me Austin Simmons at Ole Miss at 40-1. If he's good at all, you know that Lane's gonna sling it, and he might make some noise. And again, if anything like that long shot, I'm gonna bet 2 or 3 small bets, and that way, even if he's not gonna win it, at 40-1 we'll drop at some point in the year, and I can cash one out. I do think it's Arch's title to lose, but a lot of times that happens. So give me some long shots.
I haven't even looked at the Heisman numbers yet. That's getting me excited. Where is LSU guy?
Nussmeier. He's like second or third.
He's second.
Yeah.
It's such a narrative award. That's where it's hard to. That's a hard one to gauge. So I usually wait till like midway through the year, and then I look who's got the big primetime games, and then hop on somebody because they just like to ride the narrative with that award.
Agreed. It was kind of with the Army quarterback last year. Like had a chance because he was doing all this. People were betting him. For me, a lot of it you've heard already, but let's just go through it. Texas A&M plus 220 to make the playoffs. USC plus 500 to make the playoffs. That's gone down a little bit, so I love that number. Clemson to win the ACC is my best bet of the year, plus 105. Louisville, I added just in case Clemson blows it to get some of my money back at plus 850. Iowa State 11-1 to win the Big 12. I added Houston, sprinkle, 35-1 to win the Big 12. USC, 18-1 to win the Big 10. Bama, my favorite national championship bet, 11-1. A&M, 40-1. I always sprinkle them for some reason. I got Central Michigan, 20-1 to win the MAC. Ooh. Let's go, Maction, baby. Maction, baby. Wisconsin over 5.5 plus 140. Sam Houston under 4.5 plus 110. Northwestern over 3.5 minus 145. UConn under 7.5 plus 100. And Ohio under 7.5 minus 138. On my over and unders for the year so far. I'm sure I'll add some more after Moneyline Mac. Going with Moneyline Mac so I can actually win some money. So those are our bets. Get them in, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time to talk a little bit about week 0. I'm going to bet every single game, and I'm so excited. So let's kind of talk about these games. The big one, Iowa State at Kansas State, even though that's in Ireland. Fresno State at Kansas, Sam Houston at Western Kentucky, and Stanford at Hawaii. Just what a game to end the night, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're staying up for that.
I love the rainbows.
So let's talk about Moneyline Mac. How many bets you got here already? Are you betting all 4 games?
Oh, yeah. You got it. And there's some SCS games. So, yeah. I'll
Oh,
be all
let's
over
go.
these weeks.
Yeah.
Jam them in.
Jam them in. Let's get it.
Yeah, so I'll lead it off in Farmageddon out there in Ireland. By the way, this game should be played in the States and on home campuses. We've already laid out how big this game is for the Big 12 race, and I can't believe they're playing in Ireland. So Iowa State has won 4 out of 5, Matt Campbell against Chris Kleiman, and they've covered all 5 games. So I'll eat a little bit of juice here, and I'll just take K-State on the money line minus 140. I think that they are the better roster. It's a revenge game from the final game of the year. But this game is always crazy, and I don't want to be walking into a 1 or 2 point win and laying 3. So I'm going to play it safe. I think K-State gets it done because they have the better roster. I'll just lay the juice minus 140 to get it done and start 1-0 over Iowa State.
I like it. For me, I do think Kansas State's going to win, but I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it was like 2.5, but I got Iowa State at +3. I think they cover that. I think Kansas State wins by 1. It's going to be a very close game. Dogfight in the trenches. Field goal wins it. Kansas State's going to be losing, and then they kick a field goal to win, and Iowa State still covers. But I'm rooting for Iowa State to win, and then we can double up there. Denny, do you have a bet in that one?
No, I'm not making any week 1 bets. I'm just going to follow whatever Moneyline Mac says.
All right, let's
baby.
go. All right, so the next one, Fresno State at Kansas. Who we taking here, Moneyline Mac?
I'm going to fade the line movement here. It's open at 14 down to 12.5. I'll take Kansas now, laying the 12.5. It's the opener of their new stadium, so I think it's going to be a raucous environment. Fresno's a new head coach. They're transitioning from more of a air it out type team to try and run the ball. I think that's going to take a little bit of time with Entz. Give me Jalen Daniels and company to hit the ground running. I'll lay the 12.5 here with the Jayhawks.
This is Jalen Daniels' Heisman number. I would love to see this. You've mentioned him 3 times now.
Well, yeah,
I think that's worth the Heisman bet.
If he could just stay healthy, I felt like last year he was coming off that back injury 2 years ago, and he kind of he started slow. I felt like he was forcing the ball, but down the stretch, they beat all the contenders, and I think that they're just going to ride that momentum from last year's second half and have a monster year.
He's the one that wore the chain with his highlights on it? Yeah. We love the Neal kid.
Devin Neal. I drafted Devin
God,
Neal in my
we
last
love
round of
that
my
kid.
fantasy. I mean, he's 4th string right now, but I love Devin Neal.
I love Devin Neal, too. And Kansas, we always bet them. Remember we rode that win streak last year, man. We love the Jayhawks.
We certainly did.
Damn it, he's taking Kansas. Can we hit the middle? Fresno State +14.
Good. Yeah.
All right, I probably won't bet it then if the Moneyline Max says -12.5. But I on my sheet I have Fresno State +14. That's just a lot of points for week 0. All right, what about Sam Houston at Western Kentucky, Moneyline Mac? A lot of points in this one, right?
Yeah, I'm on the points, and
go.
I think I saw that you like the over. I like the over, too.
Yep.
I think these are going to be 2 offensive teams. Western Kentucky, by default, they are always just a good program, winning about 8 games, but they lost basically everybody. They only have like 4 returning starters. Sam Houston breaking in a new coach, Phil Longo. But I do like the points. This is also a conference game in the Conference USA. So I think that the unknown, I think Sam Houston's going to be good offensively. Same with Western Kentucky. I think we get a shootout. I'll take the 10, and I'll take the over.
Let's go. I'm with you, Moneyline Mac. Let's go over Sam Houston, Western Kentucky. And last but not least, we're staying up late. Hawaii and Stanford.
Let's go.
Who we got, Moneyline Mac?
So this flipped through 0. I did get Hawaii +2.5 in the summer, but if I'm playing it now, I don't want to give out a broken number here. I'll just take the money line -130. I think the Rainbow Warriors get it done. Elahado, yeah, he came on and threw 6 touchdowns in that final game. I think he has a monster year. Timmy Chang, year number 4. I like Hawaii to finally get it done and get their revenge on Stanford from 2 years ago in the opener.
Yeah, I think Stanford is so bad. Have to travel to Hawaii. I'm with you. Hawaii money line. Look at this. Me and Moneyline Mac on the same
On
page,
the same
baby.
page, man.
Hey, another one. We should play the under in K-State, Iowa State.
Okay.
Under
let's do it.
49.5, neutral site. We've seen bad weather out
Bad
there in
weather,
Ireland.
yeah. It's like the Open Championship weather out
Yeah,
there, man.
and there's so much familiarity with those teams. So there you go. 2 totals and 4 sides.
I love it. Love it. You're
Let's
in.
go, baby.
Yeah, I'm riding all
we
that.
watching it here Saturday?
Yes.
Actually, we'll be in Orlando.
Ooh.
So
So
I'll be
we
watching it
won't.
there, playing
Okay.
golf, and watching it there. Moneyline Mac will be in Vegas. I'd rather be there.
I guess I'll be here by
but
myself.
Parlay will be bumping
Yeah.
with these bets. So Kansas State, Iowa State in the under. We like Kansas minus 12.5, or Moneyline Mac does. We like the over in Sam Houston, Western Kentucky, and Hawaii Moneyline, ladies and gentlemen. And to wrap it up, okay, we kind of gave you our 12 teams in the playoffs. Let's talk a little bit about the playoffs. I know Moneyline Mac thinks it's going to be pure chaos. Who do we think is going to make it to the semifinals, and who is going to be your national champion? So let's start. Let's go with Denny, myself, and then finish with the expert Moneyline Mac. So Denny, give me your semifinal picks and who wins over who.
Okay.
And this is the order 1, 2, 3, 4, like the seedings. Is that your seedings too?
Yeah.
Or no? Are you kind of?
I didn't.
It's all good.
I'll seed them. Give me Penn State as the 1 seed. Give me Texas as the 2. Notre Dame as the 3, and Bama as the 4. Give me Texas over Penn State. That way, I won't be the same as Gray. And if I have Penn State and Alabama futures, I can just bet on Texas to win the game.
Mine's crazy.
Okay.
So I got Penn State, Texas that everyone has. Well, then I got Clemson. I think Clemson's going to be pretty good this year, sneaking in there. Everyone dogging the ACC, but Dabo gets into the semifinals. And I got LSU, ladies and gentlemen, as kind of my sneak pick. So Penn State beats LSU. Texas beats Clemson. Penn State over Texas. This is the year. James Franklin. Can't call him small game James anymore. He gets it done because on paper, Drew Aller, that running game, that defense, they're so freaking good. I think they get it done. Moneyline Mac, let's go. Talk us through the playoffs and your semifinalists and then your national champion.
Yeah, so I seeded them out. I got Penn State as the 1.
You seed all of them? Let's go.
Yeah, Bama as the 2, Georgia as the 3, Ohio State as the 4. So those are the 4 buys. I got Navy going to LSU in the 5-12 game.
Let's go.
I got Utah going to Oregon, a former Pac-12 game, the 6-11 game. I got USC going back to Notre Dame in the 7-10 game rematch of the regular season.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I got in the 8-9 Texas, Clemson. That game's in Clemson this year. So I got LSU beating Navy. I got Oregon beating Utah. I got Notre Dame beating USC in the cold. And then I have Clemson getting their revenge from last year against Texas. So that sets
Texas.
up Clemson will play Penn State in one quarterfinal. I got Penn State getting it done. I got Alabama over Notre Dame. And then I got 2 lower seeds winning here. I got Oregon beating Georgia, Dan Lanning over his mentor, Kirby Smart. And then I got Brian Kelly and his family beating Ohio State.
All right. I got
and
LSU in the
dethroning
semis.
Yep. So I got Penn State, LSU in one semi, and then I got Alabama, Oregon. I'll keep riding Penn State. Penn State gets it done. They get to the Natty. They're not back to the Natty. And then I got DeBoer beating Lanning again. I got Alabama, Penn State in the national championship.
I like that national championship.
I'm so torn on this because I am taking both to win the national championship for the futures. Penn State 7-1 and Bama 10-1.
That's what you had too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down. Give me Penn State, the Big Ten three-peats. Big Game James Franklin is his new name after this year's national championship.
Who did you have beaten Texas? I missed that. Sorry.
Clemson.
Clemson. Okay.
Clemson because the games I had it in Death Valley.
Okay.
Rather than in Austin.
Gotcha.
What a breakdown.
Yeah.
That just gets me excited.
Can't
USC
wait.
Notre Dame first round
Oh,
matchup.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's awesome.
So real high on Oregon. A lot of people are down on Oregon this year.
Yeah,
I know you talked a little bit about them.
I just think that they're better in the trenches than we're giving them credit for.
Yeah.
And I think Dante Moore, his upside is more than what Gabriel and Bo Nix was.
Gotcha.
I think that they're going to drop a game or two in the regular season at Penn State week 4. If you want to look ahead game of the year line, I love Penn State. Coming off the bye in week 4, and Oregon's coming off of the Civil War. So,
Yeah.
I love Penn State laying the points in against Oregon in that Big Ten championship rematch game.
There you go. Well, we got our champions. How you feel about Texas now, Denny?
So when Moneyline Mac came for March Madness, he was right almost every time. Do you remember that? Go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
Everything where I was on the other side of Moneyline Mac in the basketball, I lost.
Yeah.
Everyone. So I'm going to listen to this podcast back, and I might make some adjustments.
All right, so Denny has Texas over Penn State. I have Penn State over Texas. Moneyline Mac has Penn State over Bama. I really like that national championship.
The only thing I'm going to fade him on is Clemson beating Texas. I'm not doing that. Everything else is set up.
Well, that was Moneyline Mac. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're flying out of here to Vegas shortly. You gave us a lot of information, full of knowledge with college football and college basketball. Go check out the college experience if you haven't. And that's going to do it here. Denny, anything to add?
No, Mac, it was a pleasure. Hope to see you at Parlay a lot this season. And don't be a stranger.
Yes, sir.
Lock of the year, you will see me back at Parlay for college football Saturday.
Put it in.
Lock of the year. Let's go.
DraftKings has that at minus 1,800.
There
Yes.
you go. There
Thanks
you
for
go.
having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to give Graybo's Giblets 5-star wherever you hear us, Spotify, iTunes. We'll see you guys for college football Saturdays at Parlay.
Giblets.